Hi friends, in this lecture we are going to see how we can achieve inter-VPC communication with transit gateway. So in US East 1 region, we are going to configure two VPCs. The first one is prod VPC. There will host one VM which can be accessible from the internet, and there is one routing table associated with this public subnet. So another one is non-prod VPC. It cannot be accessible from the internet, but we can test the communication between jump host to instance for testing purpose. And in non-prod VPC, we are going to configure one private subnet and we'll create one routing table will associate with this subnet. And we'll take one AWS transit gateway. There we'll configure the relevant routes and we'll test the communication. This is overall lab. Before jumping into AWS console, let's see what are the steps we are going to follow during this lab. So first we'll create VPC, then subnet creation, then after that routing table creation and associate with this subnets, and the internet gateway creation and attach to prod VPC. After that we'll create transit gateway, then transit gateway attachment creation for VPCs, and transit gateway routing table creation and attach to attachment association. So instance creation, and finally we'll modify the subnet routing tables to check this communication between two VPCs. So this is our AWS console. Let's start with VPC creation. So go to VPC dashboard, then your VPCs, create VPC. This is for prod VPC. So for this one, I noted down few details here. Prod VPC 10.0. Let me copy. You can use the same. And it is 10. Default tendency. Let me create VPC first. So this is prod VPC. Let me go to VPCs and create another VPC. (10.11.0.0/16) and rest of all default. So we have created two VPCs as per our requirement. So VPC creation is done. Let's go back to the console and create relevant subnets. Click on subnets and create subnets. So let me start with prod VPC. In this one we are going to create public subnets. And John, for testing purpose, I'm taking same the first zone. It's 10.10.1.0/24. Create subnet. So one subnet is created in prod VPC. Let me create another subnet for non-prod VPC, and it is private subnet. (10.11.1.0/24). Let me clear the filter so that we can see two VPCs. So here two subnets got created now. So we can see the VPC details also here. So one is in non-prod and one is in prod. So two subnets are created now. So the next step is we are going to create routing tables and associate with this subnets. These are the default routing tables for those VPCs, but we are not going to use these default routing tables. Let me create a separate routing table and we'll associate with these subnets. the prod VPC create, and let me go back to the routing tables and create another VPC for private. It should be in non-prod VPC. So we have created two routing tables. One is for public and another is for private. So we are going to modify the public routing table as per our requirement. Just select this and select the routes. Before modifying the routes, let's associate these subnets, relevant subnet, to this routing tables. You can select edit subnet association, and you can select the subnet and click on save association. So now the relevant public subnet is associated with this public routing table, and a similar way let me do this for private subnet as well. Subnet association and edit subnet association, select save association. So it means this public subnet will follow this routing table and this private subnet will follow this private routings table. So let me check what are the routes available in public routing table first. So there is only one local route, so which is useful to communicate within local VPC. Like if anything hosted in the same VPC, we can communicate with this routing table. But this PC which is hosted in public routing table also should be able to communicate with internet, right? So just we have to add one more route, but before doing that we have to create one internet gateway. So let me click on internet gateways and create internet gateway. Just select internet gateway, great. So one internet gateway is created, but it is not attached to any VPC. So let me click on actions, attach to VPC. It should be attached to prod VPC as per our lab scenario. Attached to internet. So let's test this now. So you can see the details. It is attached to prod VPC. So if you see our lab diagram, so we have configured prod VPC, non-prod VPC, one internet gateway, and we have created public subnet and private subnet. We have created routing tables, and just default route is already there. I mean local route is already there, and we are going to configure this trans IGW internet gateway route in this public subnet associated routing table. So I'm selecting public routing table and click on routes, edit routes. Just add route towards internet gateway. We have already created this internet gateways, so it is appear here. Save changes. Click on routing tables. Then you can check public routes. So these are the two routes available in public routing table now. So let's check the routes for private subnets. Routes, only there is a local route, nothing else. Let's come back to our steps. So we have created VPCs and subnets and routing table and associated with this subnets, and we have created internet gateway and attached it to prod VPC. We have modified the routing tables towards internet gateway, but we did not add any transit gateway routes yet because we haven't created any transit gateway related attachments in this VPCs. So the next step is we are going to create transit gateway, then relevant attachments and transit gateway routing tables. Then finally we'll create instances and we'll test our communication based on that. So let's jump into our console again. So in our AWS console, just go to VPC dashboard, then you can see transit gateways here. So here is the transit gateways options. So just select transit gateways and click on create transit gateway, and we can see transit gateway 1, transit gateway 1. For inter VPC communication, we are using this transit gateway, so no need to modify anything. So transit gateway CIDR block, so we are not using this, just simply create transit gateway. So transit gateway is created now, still getting created, showing as pending. Let's wait for some more time. So now it is available. So let me click on transit gateway attachments to create attachments for each VPC. Transit gateway attachments. We can name it as Prad VPC attachment. We have to select the transit gateway. Just now we created transit gateway 1, right? So just select that, and we have to select the VPC. The type is VPC. So here we are using for inter VPC communication. So I selected the VPC only. So in upcoming sessions, I'm going to show you how we can do the other things as well, like VPC peering, and how we can achieve the communication between two regions by using this VPC, I mean transit gateway. So let's start with this now. So VPC, the type is VPC, and we are going to select VPC ID. The first one is VPC prod, and there is only one subnet, so it is showing one subnet details. That's it. Just click on create transit gateway attachment. So we have created the transit gateway attachment for prod VPC. Next we are going to create another non-prod VPC attachment. So select the transit gateway, non-prod VPC, and the only one subnet is there. Click on create. So there are two attachments got created now as per our requirement. So let's attach these attachments to routing table. Let's go back to transit gateway routing table. Here is the routing table. It's available. Let's check the associations. Oh, actually it took some time to get reflected here. So by default, these are all already associated with this routing table. Also, we can create separate routing table and we can associate these attachments. Let's take separate routing table so that we'll get some hands-on how we can associate these VPC attachments, as well as how we can create routes. So let me click on this. Let me try to delete if there is any option. There's no. Okay, so we'll do one thing. Let's create separate routing table for our testing purpose. Inter VPC routing table. Select the transit gateway, click on create. So it got created now. Let's check and let's try to associate this. Okay, still it is pending. Let's wait for some more time. So it is available now. Let me try to create association. Proud VPC attachment, create association. So what it is, there was an error creating your transit gateway route table association. Why? Transit gateway attachment is already associated to a routing table. So let me deassociate from the first routing table, which was default. Then we'll associate these attachments with this newly created routing table. Delete association, delete. It is showing us disconnecting, sorry, disassociation. So let me delete another one as well. Similar way, let me remove propagation as well. Delete propagation, delete propagation. So there are no roots even. So associations, no associations with the default route table. There is no propagation, and there are no any prefix list, also roots also. So I will tell you what is association and what is propagation. So for this one, if we associate any attachment, so whenever traffic coming from that attachments, it follow this routing table. So we are going to attach two attachments which should follow this routing table. So create association, prod VPC, go to associations again and create another association, non-prod, click on OK. So we have two associations with this routing table. So whenever traffic coming from these attachments will follow this routing table, inter VPC routing table. And what are the routes available here? So still it is showing as association. Let's wait for some more time to reflect. Let's try to refresh. Now it is associated. So let's go to propagations. So the propagations, what happens if we create a propagation, whenever there is any changes with this propagated, if you select any propagation VPC, if there are any changes in CIDR, it will automatically reflect in the routing tables. So I'm propagating this one. Then if you can see in the routing table, the relevant rules should be reflect here. Let's check. Go to propagations. It is showing as enabled. So we got it now. It took some time to reflect. So let me propagate another attachment as well. So it will take some time to reflect the routes here. So let's wait for some more time. So here are the two routes available from the propagated type. So if you do not propagate anything here, we can even create static routes also in this routing table. So let's go back to the default routing table. I will show you. So there is no association, we deleted, no propagation, no routes. So in our newly created routing table, we can see there's a association of these two attachments and propagation, then routes. Let's go back to our steps. These are the things we already configured: transit gateway attachments, transit gateway route table creation, and association is completed. So let's jump into another step and create instances. So in our EC2 dashboard, let's create private VPC first, private instance first, launch instance, Just I'm giving name as instance, Linux instance, and let's create a key pair. Let me use PEM file only so that I can convert this PEM file into PPK later. Also, we can use this in jump host without any issues. So for transit lab, this is the just name, create key. Yeah, it is downloaded now. It is in my downloads folder. So let me edit. This should be in non-prod VPC and private subnet. RTOS and public IP is not required for this instance because it should be in private subnet and it should not be communicate with internet, so it is not required in our case. And create a security group. So let me allow at least ping from anywhere. So it is allowing SSH communication from anywhere to this one. Let me add one more rule in this security group itself. Allow ICMP, all ICMP here. From okay, let's take the custom range 10.0.0.8. Just I'm allowing only private network. Yeah, click on launch instance. Instance got created. Let's check, go back to instances and see it got one private IP. The status is still pending, but it will take some time. Meanwhile, let's create our gem host. Let's select the same key pair, and yeah, it got already selected prod VPC and public subnet. That's great. And allow SSH from anywhere. Okay, that's fine. Along with that, I would like to add one more role here. SSH is okay, just I would like to ping from internet as well. So allow ICMP anywhere. And here we have to select auto ascend public IP as well because we need internet communication for this PC. That's it. Rest of all good. Click on launch instance. It is showing as success. Let me go back to EC2 instances and click on running instances. Let's remove this. Let's see, it is still in initializing, it's pending. Let me click on jump host. I can see public IP for this jump host, when I can see private IP as well. I would like to access this PC through the putty, so I need to convert this PEM file into PPK file. I will show you how to convert that quickly. Just download and install putty generate as well. Just open that putty gen, click OK. Just click on load and select your key here, downloads, and select all files so that it shows all the files. Import it, OK, and save private key. Click on OK. Give any name. Just I'm giving same name, lab. Just I'm giving as pretty. I'm saving it as ppk. That's it. Now this key is ready. Let me check the status of instances now. Seems like this is still in initializing state. Let me select this IP. Already we enabled ICMP also, so we can test the communication from here. Yeah, I'm able to reach through command prompt. So let me go back to this one. Let's paste this IP. Go back to SSH authentication and select this latest key. Click on open. Here we go. It is accepted. So by default, the name is EC2 user. Click on OK. Yeah, it is authenticated. It is ready to use now. So even you can see this is private IP of this PC. So you can see here. So in this lab diagram, you can see we have created all these things except this routing table modifications. And now I'm in jump host. So I can see the IP address of this PC as well. So I logged in into this PC from internet using the key. So let me create this key file here so that I can test the communication. Or I think just we are pinging, we are not trying to access this EC2 instance as well. So as this is just ping test, there is no need of key, I think. So let's try to ping this instance IP. This is the private instance IP. Just copy it, click on copy and go back to this session. Click on ping, enter. Just so it is, I am unable to ping this PC now because there is no route from this subnet. So let's go back to the routing tables and modify our routing tables. Just click on VPC, route tables, click on public routing table, routes, and here we have two routes only. One is local and other thing is towards internet, but there should be one more route towards transit gateway. Edit, and from here if you would like to reach 11 dot, let me give complete CIDR here. It should go to transit gateway attachment. This is our prod VPC attachment. Click on save changes. As well as we have to modify the routing table for private subnet as well. Go back to routes. Here only let me create a route for this particular subnet. Transit gateway. Select transit gateway attachment. Save changes. Let's go back to this. See here. So now the communication is working from one VPC to another VPC. So as per our lab diagram, we are in this PC now. We are able to ping this instance successfully. So we have completed this lab now. We have created prod VPC, non-prod VPC, and transit gateway. By using this transit gateway, now the communication is happening from jump host to this instance. So in upcoming videos, we are going to see how we can create multiple routing tables and how we can limit the routes. For example, if we have a three VPCs, we can control the communication between those VPCs using multiple routing tables. In upcoming sessions, I'm going to upload those videos. Thank you for watching.